fat bikes, bike trainers, rock and roll, sketchy ice, and more. A lot to talk about this week, so let's jump right in. What is up, everybody, and welcome back to another video. Last week on Monday and Tuesday, the weather wasn't that great, and I had a bunch of projects I wanted to do, winter projects around here, so I worked on those, and I didn't do any riding at all. I'll get into a little bit of that here later. But first ride of the week was my group's Christmas ride. We've been doing this now for 10 years, unbelievably, and then it's always the Wednesday before Christmas, but since next Wednesday will be Christmas Eve, it was a full week out. We went out, we rode around Akron, we did a bunch of cuts. It was still very sketchy, even though it got a little warmer during the day. Around here, the weather has been that freeze-thaw cycle again, so it might get warm enough during the day to get rid of a lot of the snow and ice, but not all of it. So it was a studded tire bike for almost everyone in the group, if not everyone. And then we made it more of a loop, like just kind of going around town and everywhere, and then meeting up at Missing Falls Brewery at the end, so people who didn't want to go ride the sketchy ice could still meet up for the holiday Christmas party ride.
How do you feel about cultural appropriation?
On Thursday, I worked around a couple things around here again, and then in the evening, I was going to meet a group of friends. We meet up, I don't know, maybe 3-4 times a year. I almost always ride my bike out to it. It wasn't a lot of riding. I think it was probably 5-6 miles for me to get out to where we were going. We got dinner, hit a couple breweries, and then it was just riding home. It's always a really fun time to get together with that group because we just talk about local politics and issues and all that kind of stuff. Not even really sure how we started doing this, but it's always a good time when we do. On Friday, I went down to Dirty River Bicycle Works. I was meeting Danny. He had watched a couple of the winter videos, and he was talking about how much he thinks I would like his fat bike, his Surly Wednesday. He was taking it in to get his studded tires put on and set up tubeless, and he was like, why don't you meet me and borrow it for a little while? Unfortunately, there's not a lot of snowy weather in the forecast right now. That's really what I want to test it out and make a video about. I would also like to get it out to the mountain bike trails if we have a chance. I'd love to ride it at East Rim and try and do some of the rock gardens. We'll see what the weather does, but either way, I'm pretty excited to try this bike out. Tons of you in the comments are like, you need a fat bike. I don't feel I need a fat bike, but I think I'm gonna have a ton of fun on a fat bike in the right conditions. And on the opposite end of the spectrum, when I got home, my new bike trainer had arrived. If you saw the last video, I was very frustrated with my old bike trainer, but Erin said she wouldn't mind trying it out, so I ordered myself a Kickr Core original. I think these things were like $800 new, and I got it well below half of that because there's a new version out, but being that it was already coming out at the same time as my old one, it's a huge upgrade. Spoiler alert, it's way better. And again, it was interesting in the last video to talk about bike trainers and hear what other people's opinion are, from people who just will always ride outside or not ride, to people who ride inside all winter and then every spread. And like I always say, the fact that I really wanted a direct drive trainer and not a wheel-on one doesn't mean that yours is obsolete or doesn't work for you. I always find it interesting to see what people do. People who ride dumb trainers and say they'll just watch TV, that just doesn't work for me. It doesn't motivate me to ride indoors because I am someone who will still be riding outdoors all winter. And so I had also gotten a bunch of new stuff for the live stream. And so I wanted to test that out and I wanted to get the trainer set up. So I decided to go live on Friday. I did not leave that as a fully public video, reason being there was, I was trying out some technical different stuff and crowdsourcing solutions, which really worked out, thanks to Carl a lot out there in Grand Rapids, Michigan, right? And yeah, anyways, it was cool. Unboxed the trainer, so showed that off a little bit, but then also got the new stuff with the live stream setup. So I will link that in the pinned comment below. You have to click through the link to be able to see it. Like I said, I didn't want to leave it fully public. But yeah, it has me excited for the live streams and some stuff that we're going to be able to do there. I really cleaned up the cables and everything. I took the whole live stream setup apart and rebuilt it, found old cables I wasn't using, cleaned up some power outlets. It doesn't look as clean right now because I haven't cable managed the new stuff yet, because I kind of want to see where it needs to go and function, since it'll be hooking up 2 different computers at different times. Even though it looks still like a rat's nest, it's actually not, and it's going to be very clean, and it's already making things a lot better. On Saturday morning, I was photographing the Selfless Elf 5K, which supports the Akron Canton Regional Food Bank. It was pretty cool because I was there to photograph, but I ran into a number of friends. Also, for some of you OGs, if you remember Alpine Daydream from the chat, he was there, so got to see him. He's gotten really into running lately, even done some 100-milers. The timing crew also had their own photographers. 2 of the photographers, a husband and wife team, knew the channel because they both ride bikes out in Doylestown. So we were having a conversation about photography, and then they made the connection. He's like, wait, I know your YouTube channel. So that's always crazy, a lot of fun. And a couple of other selfies, a couple other people who came up. I had to be there at 7 in the morning, and I actually got there early because I get nervous about those things. So I have not remembered the names, to be honest, but that's how it goes for me. I rarely get up before 8 o'clock. I actually took a nap when I got home from covering that, but I just couldn't get warmth back into myself. It was so cold out there. It was in the teens, and of course I had my hands out using the camera and all that. And it's just, I don't know if you guys ever get this, where sometimes you get a chill in you, and even though it's warm here in the studio, especially upstairs, I just couldn't get it back. So I'm like, well, let's try out the trainer, because I'll ride the trainer, get hot, take a hot shower, and I had other things I wanted to do outside that day, so I figured if I don't get some warmth into me, it's gonna be real hard to do these other things. So I rode the trainer for 13 miles and 492 feet. Really good, felt like a really good workout. After my shower, I got myself ready. I was heading off to this Highland Square stroll, which the neighborhood has just different vendors and food at all the different like bars and stores and stuff like that. I was mostly going to see friends' bands. I went to see Heron and Thorla, then went over and saw my friend Greg and Robert play outside. They were one of the few bands that actually decided to do that. Originally, I think everyone used to play outside. So caught them, and then I walked down, or rode my bike down to the Mustard Seed, where actually my friend and upstairs tenant in this building, Jeff, was playing with this Christmas band Mistletoe, which is always a blast. So that was a great day, and then I rode home from there. That ride was 10 miles and 738 feet of elevation, and it was just really interesting to compare riding on the same day outside and inside the way I felt. Because I just find, and I'll be curious to hear what you guys have to say about this, when I ride the trainer, it's just such a different experience, and almost, I just have a hard time figuring out how to compare it. But when I climbed my first couple hills outdoors, I could feel it in my legs from that first ride. And even coming home and getting some climbing, and obviously more climbing on the second ride with 3 less miles, and I could feel it in my legs from riding the trainer. But if I had just gone and done that like commute out to that holiday stroll, I know I would not have felt nearly as tired. So it's kind of an interesting thing. I hear a lot of people say like trainer miles don't equal real miles. And I'm like, I don't know, but they equal a better workout for me. I think as I ride it a little more and compare it more to outside, maybe I'll start to remember that feeling and have a better understanding of it. But I guess it's, one thing when you're sitting on a trainer, it's just so much easier to keep consistent power, and you're obviously not going to sit there coasting, or why would you be sitting indoors riding? So yeah, I don't know, it's just two different things, and I just tend to view the trainer as getting a workout, and riding outdoor anymore, I just never feel like pushing it to that kind of level. Also in the winter, there's a lot of times where I'm trying not to sweat, especially going to this event and like climbing, like I said, a little bit. I'm just kind of riding my bike because I love riding my bike. Riding the trainer is more of like, hey, this is gonna help keep me in shape. On Sunday morning, I wanted to work on a bunch of my photos from the week. I'd also been photographing Hope in Sports again. And so I had the Selfless Elf photos, which I took over 1,000 photos there. I only edited about 400, but still a lot of work. And so I'm kind of getting to work, and I'm like, at some point I want to get outside. I knew I was heading over to my parents for like Christmas cookie decorating and dinner around 4:30. And I was like, well, maybe that'll just be my ride. I'll ride to my parents and I'll ride home 10 miles, a little bit of climbing, not too bad. But looking at people's Instagram stories, the trails still look really sketchy, but most of the neighborhood streets look good. And I'm like, do I ride the studded bike in case it gets sketchy in the valley? And then I'm like, I'll be coming home at night when it's harder to see the ice. Do I want to ride a normal bike? And on a couple of the other rides this week, even later, I still noticed some ice. And I was like, you know what? It's gray out. I have no real destination if I don't ride to my parents. And so I'm like, just set up the trainer. Why don't I jump on the trainer instead? And it saves me time and stuff like that. So I ended up doing a 21-mile ride and climbing almost 1,000 feet. Took me a little over an hour, and that's exactly what I wanted it for, to get some exercise on a day where riding outside just really wasn't that appealing to me. If I had rode outside earlier in the day, I was thinking of like, maybe I'll go out at 2 for like an hour. I wasn't gonna go anywhere. I was gonna roll around the neighborhood, avoid the bike path. So for me, that was like the perfect situation for the bike trainer. I probably would have just ended up not riding that day, but instead I still got 20 miles in. I'm recording this on the Monday before Christmas, and the next big thing on the agenda is the Festive 500. If you're not familiar, it's 500 kilometers from Christmas Eve to New Year's Eve. I've done it, I think, since 2019 at least, maybe longer. Oh, Edmund's meowing at me. Just a minute, Med, we'll play. This is the last thing I gotta record. Oh, that's a sad meow. Anyway. Which is actually gonna be pretty tough this year. I'm not sure how it's gonna go. The last number of years, I've had pretty much nothing work-wise between Christmas and New Year's, pretty much had the week off. There's always stuff to do when I own an old building and have a photography business, but no places I had to be outside of social obligations. This year I do have a number of gigs. I had mentioned before too that there is a surgery in my family, so I'm not really sure what I'm gonna have to do to help out with that yet. So I don't know, it's gonna be tough to try and get over 300 miles in that week. I'm still gonna go for it as always and make a video about it. The last couple years, or 3 years, I've done it entirely outside. 1 year I did it entirely inside, which was actually the hardest year, believe it or not. Sitting on a trainer for, I think it averages 33 miles a day is not, not what I like to do. So I'm not sure. I did do a hybrid 1 year where I rode some of the miles out and some in, and that might be the only way I could pull it off again this year. That year I actually even did one of the live streams on the trainer, which I'm set up to do again now, so we'll see about all that. Anyways, happy holidays, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year's, all that stuff if I don't get a video out before then besides this one. And I will see you in the new year. If you're a channel member, you will get that end of the year video that I make as always with the behind the scenes. Thanks as always for watching.